Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and these are your August 2025 video horoscopes. And August is pretty gentle, easygoing month, possibly one of the easiest that I've looked at this year. And it's kind of like the quiet before the storm because in September we have two eclipses. But after that, again, we're going to have some wonderful configuration to the end of the year through the months. But August is a well-deserved respite and break. We're going to have Mercury turning direct. Around the same time, the two greatest benefics, Venus and Jupiter, are joining together in Cancer. Actually, the whole of August, they're pretty much in the same sign. So one area of your life will go with such ease, with such blessings and positive flow. So there will be one area that will be very easy for us all, or a source of blessings. And we're going to have a Saturn opposition Mars around the 9th, 8th, or 7th, 8th, 9th. But usually this is a stressful combination. Some external circumstance can stress us, some conflict that needs to be resolved. But this time it creates an incredibly positive configuration, which is called a kite formation, because there is a trine from Uranus to Mars, trine from Pluto to Mars. And that's kind of, Uranus is wisdom, Pluto is willpower. So some kind of whatever we triggered into, which is Mars Saturn opposition, triggered or into action, activated in some way, provoked, we're able to resolve it by tapping into divine wisdom and the right source of willpower that is aligned to divine willpower. So this energy, this conflict or the stress between Saturn and Mars that's starting at the beginning of the month will be resolved in some way into productive action. And of course, we're going to have full moons, new moons, but nothing dramatic, nothing over the top. There is a full moon on the 9th of August, which is in Aquarius. It's around the same time where everything else, the Venus, Jupiter conjunction, Saturn, Mars opposition. And this will be like peak of activity. Full moons are peak of activities, seeing the results of previous actions, getting the rewards for it, for example. And this full moon is in Aquarius, which is social. It predisposes us to connect with like-minded people, emotionally to form friendships, or to strengthen existing friendships already, or connections, business or personal connections as well. And on the 23rd, there is a new moon when the sun and the moon are together at the 0 degrees in Virgo, which kind of gets us prepared to get into work mode, to get into more serious down to earth, because till now was everything was in Leo, so it's more like enjoy yourself, holidays and so on. But this new moon from the 23rd of August in the 0 degree of Virgos kind of gets us down to earth, focused. Um, let's get down to practical things, solve them, and it's conjunct the star Regulus. So it's the star of leadership. So maybe some kind of new motivation will come into us to, let's say, to organize ourselves, to take leadership about our health, which is Virgo, or because Regulus is a star of incredible willpower. This is the heart of the lion. It's a star there, the heart of the king, which gives us incredible willpower, incredible motivation, and bravery and courage. And we can apply it to Virgo areas in our life for our health, for our routines, for our work, for our errands, to organize our life in some way for the practical matters of life. And now we're going to start with each of the 12 signs. But before that, I just want to let you know that I've created a 3.5 hour webinar on the ideal home and perfect environment according to your horoscope. You don't need to know any astrology. You just need to know your day of birth and time of birth. And I lead you step by step to see what is like. Are you going to live near mountains in certain periods of life, or near marshes, or near forests or big cities, small cities? What will the house be like? Is going to be a big house or more than one place of living, foreign residence or more local? Or how is it going to be even decorated? And what's going to be around your neighborhoods? For example, it might be close to stadiums. That's how you recognize if you're trying to choose two properties to rent, which is yours. If there is Mars influence, it will be close to a factory or close to a stadium or fitness. So if it's close to Venus, it might be close to a music hall. So I go through absolutely every sign. Each 12 signs have their ideal environment, and each planet has its own environment. And how to see, and you can have more than one environments. For example, you can have a few signs that influence your places of living and where you find yourself throughout your life. It's incredible. You can see even are you going to be in islands or more densely populated places with gardens and so on. It's incredibly fun. It's only $20. It becomes 30 after that. Very affordable if you'd like to order it. I'm putting a link below here. And now let's begin with the 12 signs. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, August 2025. And Pisces, you should always start, or whoever you are, with the ascendant sign. If you know your time of birth, and then check your sun sign, moon sign for a fuller picture, ideally the three signs, and see which one you align most with. Sometimes you align with parts of one and parts of the others, but all three signs, sun, moon, or ascendant, are self energies. They describe parts of us, so they're relevant. So if you have sun, moon, or rising in Pisces, this month carries a lot of beautiful energy for you because both Jupiter, planet that rules you, is becoming visible now in August. Till now, it was invisible for 2 or 3 months. And when it becomes visible, because Jupiter rules, you start coming into your strength again. You start feeling that you're able to manifest tangibly in the real world. And Jupiter has entered from June, but you couldn't feel it because Jupiter was invisible. It's sign of exaltation. So you'd feel like you're swimming in your own waters in August. You'd feel like there is this empowerment, let's say, and you become more attuned to the universe. And Jupiter is in your fifth house, there with Venus the whole of August. The two benefic planets are in your one of the luckiest houses. The fifth house is the house of good karma. We all done good deeds in past lifetimes or early in this lifetime, and they're stored somewhere, like in the bank, in the karmic bank for us. Well, this is the fifth house, and when it gets activated by the two most benefic and benevolent planets, like Venus and Jupiter, it's like opening the opening the bank for your rewards. Whether you helped someone, a poor person, 3 lives ago or earlier in this lifetime, the two most benefic planets activating your good karma. I would even play lottery. I would say fifth house, the house of playing lottery games, winning speculatively. And we don't win speculatively because, like, okay, we're lucky, but usually because we have good karma. We've earned it somehow with previous actions. That's why some people are very lucky in like games of chance, and others are not so much. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you're not good at games of chance. Maybe you just decided in this lifetime not to use this reserve of your good karma, to store it for another time. But now, if you have good karma, you can unlock it. So something good can come to you unexpectedly, a windfall with ease. Or even if you're doing like investing in stocks or whatever, you can be lucky in some way. Or fifth house is also romance. Ooh, can we get a bit more romantic? Have fun. Fifth house to have fun, to go to cinema, to theater, to the restaurants, on holidays, to do the things we really enjoy that make us light up. For some people is to make love, for other people is to play tennis, our hobbies. For another one is to develop their business, which they love, which they've grown like a baby. For others is to spend time with their children or to swim. These are the fifth house activities that make us feel happy. Well, Venus and Jupiter give you the green light, and you say maybe you'll find new such places of joy, of pleasure, of enjoyment, of entertainment as well. Uh, or maybe you can fall in love as well, or some kind of a renewal of feeling in love with life, feeling in love with the joy of life, excitement of life. this flow of life. It might be a simple hobby that you discover that brings you joy, or it might be literally falling in love, or for some of you, it can be getting pregnant. I don't know, this fifth house, or something good happening in the life of your child or children, the fifth house, which always makes us very happy when this happens. Some creative idea coming and flowing, and some new ideas. Fifth house, not just creative ideas, so I'm gonna make a pottery. It's kind of original idea of yours that comes, and you're like, ooh, it's coming, and you can be more entertaining, more fun, center stage. Fifth house is kind of the house, and it's also protective. Venus and Jupiter trine in your sign, they're protecting you physically, health wise, and so on. Um, Also, so yeah, use this, maybe enjoy yourself, do something that is fun. You'll see that it's more easily, it comes to you more easily, or go on dates and so on. Go on some place you love with your husband, or that will feel luxurious, glamorous in a sense. Or if you're an artist performer, can be very beneficial for you as well, because this is the center stage, the fifth house, the house of fame, if you want some fame. Um, on another level, Mars is moving into your eighth house, which is good because it's moving from Virgo, and it's going to be no longer aspecting you directly, which can be stressful, triggering. Now it's going to be in your eighth house, from where it's not making aspects, but it can activate you to be more proactive for taxes over the next 1.5 months, for finding resources from others, or sourcing out resources from others, for fixing your finances in some way, for for digging and researching something. Eight houses research, for working more on your psychology and psychological healing. And not only that, but initially there might be, when Mars just enters your eighth house opposition with Saturn, there can be some financial dilemma. This is money house, this is money house, my money, your money, other people's money, my resources, others' resources, that you have to solve. That can be a bit tense, some expenses coming or whatever, some blockages in a financial situation, or in situation of mine versus yours, what you contribute versus what I contribute, how much I give emotionally versus how much I give you give emotionally, how much you give financially versus how much I give financially. The need to solve some situation, but you do it with ease, because Uranus and Pluto are there, making trine to Mars and to your Saturn, and to the Saturn opposition. So almost like invisible forces are helping you, divine wisdom, divine willpower, to solve some complicated situation there, or more stressful situation. And because they'll make a grand trine, which is the most harmonious, perfect configuration, where the energies flow most perfect between and Uranus, Pluto, and Mars, and even Saturn makes it like a kite. It can be extremely positive to solving some eighth house, 12th house, or fourth house matter, like past fourth house is childhood trauma or pattern that you shake up suddenly. With ease, you release it because of this grand trine and Uranus there, or some trauma and some intimacy issues, or some issues connected to inability to receive from others, which is also intimacy. If you can't receive from the universe, you can't be orgasmic either. That's what they say, because the receiving of another physically or intimately is also the ability to receive help and support from others, and to open yourself from the receiving from the universe. So it can also work through some kind of trauma there as well and heal it. Or maybe even some situation, eighth houses, other things like obsessions, compulsions that you solve, release, or maybe some situation of other people's finances, or such things that you can solve as well through this grand trine, or even past life traumas, Pluto in the 12th house, that can be healing, subconscious healing. Something will shift in your subconscious. I've been saying this to all the water sign, because the grand trine is happening in their most private spiritual houses. These houses are moksha houses of being freed, liberated from attachments to painful material things. And you shake off the attachments to the material, and you're more a step closer to being more spiritual, to being more free, moksha is liberation, freedom. It's freedom in a sense, freedom from attachments and the past in some way. So yeah, there can be some alchemical process happening in you subconsciously that heals you, frees you in some way. While Jupiter and Venus tells you also enjoy yourself or romance or luck there. Um, yeah, there can be this tension between Saturn and Mars that is, especially your values versus other people's values. But because of the wonderful other aspects, uh, it gets improved. It gets resolved. You're gonna have a full moon on the 9th of August in your 12th house, what makes you a lot more intuitive. It can also indicate illuminating some secret, finding something out that was happening behind your back, or illuminating something about your subconscious motivation and your past lives, or certain behaviors, like a psychological realizations and a breakthrough when what you need to release and let go, and completing something as well around that time. Um, what else? Yes, Mercury is turning direct in your sixth house. So if there were some delays at your workplace with project after the 11th of August, they get resolved, or with colleagues, or with some health complications, because sixth house retrograde planet also can sometimes create like a health issues. It starts getting resolved after that, and uh, coming back to normal, or if there was some disruption to your schedules, to your routines, to your work regime, to your everyday plans again, and maybe you needed to do some changes to adjust. When Mercury turns direct, you also align, and it comes back more to how things should be expected to. If you work behind the scenes on some project, preparing, fixing it, correcting it, because sixth house is also work, and Mercury is there, the mental work of correcting, fixing something. Now, when it turns direct, you'll start seeing the results of it. So thank you so much, Pisces. It's pretty kind of chill month, of course, unless something is directly hitting you, which is only your personal horoscope can see. But kind of take rest, meditate, enjoy, because after that comes the eclipses in September in Pisces. So it's kind of like there is the divine grace here in your third house through Venus and Jupiter in a very good house of good karma, that you can get some rewards and so on, or karmic payback, positive. We're talking here. Good luck or good experiences, pleasant, enjoyable, because after that are the eclipses, which will be shifting your life, as you know. So thank you so much. And if you're interested in that webinar of mine, it's only $20. It's 3.5 hours. It tells you exactly what environments you're going to live in. Is it going to be which countries even? I mentioned the countries. You don't need to know any astrology. I explain it. It's very easy. Everyone has a few environments according to their fourth house, the moon sign, the sign of the soul planet, and if there is any planets in the fourth house. So I speak about each of the environments of the planets and the signs. Like some person might be much more aligned to big cities, others to rural living, or others can have mixed combinations. Some might always find themselves living close to schools, another one always find themselves living close to factories, all of this, and how your home will look. More than one homes. Are you more likely to live abroad or in your place of birth, and so on? So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.